Hello, Heather here. I'm so excited to present violinist Susan Stephenson as our featured violinist of the month. Welcome, Susan.
Hello, Heather.
I'm so glad to have you here and to showcase you for other violinists at the studio, for you to be an example to them in your violin journey. So I'd love to hear about your violin journey. I know you're a lifetime violinist, so if you can share a bit about your violin journey.
I'm Susan Stephenson. I live in Toledo, Ohio. I grew up in Toledo, spent a lifetime in the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area where I taught Suzuki violin lessons. That's where I began my training. And I was led to do that because when I was in graduate school, I saw a teacher teaching a 5-year-old. Well, typically you began lessons in school in maybe 3rd grade. That was the earliest at that time. I began in 4th grade. The string teacher brought the 5th and 6th graders, string students, into the 4th grade classes, gave a demonstration, and I thought, this is what I want to do. So I went home, told my dad, I said, I have to play violin. Went down and to the local music store, rented a violin, and I was so excited. So I started taking in school, and I eventually took private lessons and studied through high school. And I went to university and have a bachelor and master's degree in music in violin performance. So I've spent a long, long time, I'm not going to give away my age, long time playing violin and teaching violin. As I said, I got into the Suzuki teacher training, and eventually I started taking Suzuki early childhood education training. That's working with music and with babies and parents. It's sort of, Suzuki teachers in particular spend a lot of time with parent education and teaching parent how to practice at home with their child. And Dr. Suzuki always said, remember the babies. And so Dorothy Jones in London, Ontario, Canada, took that to heart and came back home from her studying with Dr. Suzuki and began designing that we call it SECE for short, Suzuki Early Childhood Education Training. And I've completed all 5 stages of that. So eventually I moved from the Northern Virginia area. Life brought me back to Toledo. So I've been working on building up a studio again and building up the baby class, we call it for short. So I love working with the kids. I love working with the babies and the parents. It's just all there. Music is it. Now, having said that, I work a full-time job. Fortunately, the hours are flexible, but it's still at least 40 hours a week. So you can't even believe how excited I was when you gave out a freebie PDF about a 15 to 30 minute practice routine. And I went, wow, I can make this work. I can remember in graduates or in undergrad, the teacher handed me this sheet and said, here, this is what you do for 4 hours a day. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't anywhere as detailed and specific as what you give to your students. So I'm excited. My violin journey is back on track because I spent so many years not really practicing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, you'd have, if a gig came up, yeah, I practiced the part, knew my stuff, showed up and played.
Right.
But to actually seriously practice, I discovered you. Actually, my baby sister discovered you online, and she says, here, you might be interested in this person. And and I jumped into a challenge. That was August of 2017. And after that, the rest is history. And here we are on the
Oh, that is so cool.
together.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that question, because how you got to how you got funneled into online. So it was your baby sister who said, you know, check this out. Before that, did you think about going to search online for anything?
No, never even occurred to me that anybody did that. Even if it had popped into my head, I'm thinking, how would you do that? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm pretty convinced that it takes a very good teacher, first of all, and a very observant eye to catch all the things that you do on a screen.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, it's a whole nother world, online, teaching online, than it is in person, but I do definitely enjoy the online aspect of teaching, and the group courses, the group classes that we offer with the Gorgeous Tone Academy. That blew my mind away, really. That was like a lot of things that I did online blew my mind away how effective it was. But the group classes just thrilled me to pieces, how we have different level violinists in the group classes, and everybody has something to take away.
Yeah, everybody has something to give too, because I've listened to, you know, the students, you know, Jan, who started 2 years ago, and her favorite piece is Chardas. Well, hey, let you go, girl. That's just so exciting to me that somebody would want to pick it up. And with the online aspect, it's what a convenience. Isn't the 21st century great? Because I wouldn't have time to pack it up, go down to the university or go to someone else's house and have a lesson, get back home. And, you know, that this can be, and especially the academies, the way you do it, it behooves you, if you've signed up and paid the money, to show up live. But, you know, life happens. So right. Always run the video. And I think I had said to you one time that, yes, it's expensive, but I'm looking at this as part of my education. And, you know, and I hate doing this, but I put it on my credit card and just said, I'll figure out how to pay for it, you know, make those monthly payments and get it done. Mm-hmm. And it's worth every penny. And with a live teacher, if I go to their studio, I can't go back and look at what I did. And that's such beauty that you really have figured out the process and how to, I can go back anytime. I can go back forever. If I live to be 100, I can go back and watch you teach that Gorgeous Tone Academy all over again and find something new.
Yeah, it's like an onion. Every time going through, the one layer gets absorbed, then the next layer, and so it's really. And again, when I created it, I had no idea that it would be like that. The other one question I wanted to ask, you said that this was intriguing to me. You said that you weren't practicing when you had a gig, that, you know, you'd show up and shut up and play. And but as far as outside of the gigs, you weren't practicing in that time.
No.
Why not? Because of time? Was it a time issue?
Yeah, life happened and it was a time issue. And I was working sometimes 60 and 70 hours a week.
So there was just no time. And I'm sure if you did have a few minutes, you just wanted to relax and not pick the violin up.
Unfortunately, violin wasn't. Now, interestingly enough, even with those 60 to 70 hours, I still taught lessons.
Yeah.
I did squeeze that in, but it was like having a job and a half or even 2 jobs.
Right.
I actually had a pretty full studio at that point. As well. I had 20 students. Mm-hmm. So I was helping them, but there wasn't any time for help for me.
Right. Let alone time to make dinner, to eat.
Sometimes.
And you're performing too at the same time.
Yeah, I'd have jobs here and there. That was a little bit tough after spending. I spent 28 years in the Northern Virginia area. Everybody knew me. You know, they needed a floor. I was somewhere near the top of the list all the time. As far as a teacher, I was pretty close to the top of the list too. But when I came back to Toledo, that was 2008, things were not so good financially for a lot of people. And I discovered, they're trying to put food on their table. They're not going to take violin lessons. But, you know, as these things go, the pendulum swings back and forth, and the studio's built up some more. So, but
so you have
to establish myself was tough too.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Toledo now?
I moved back here in June of 2008, so it'll be 12 years in June.
Okay, great. And do you have a website for your studio, or do you have a Facebook page?
I have a Facebook page, and I have a website. This is very ambitious of me. Suzuki Music School of the Greater Toledo area.
I love it.
Suzuki Music School of Greater Toledo, because there several surrounding areas have really fine string programs. So I thought, well, we'll call it Greater Toledo. And you know, realize I am fairly centrally located. You can get here in a few minutes.
That's great. That's great. And what is the youngest age of your students and the oldest age?
I have right now a lady in her 50s is the oldest. At the moment, the youngest is 7. I have had the four-year-olds pop in and out over the years. And I mentioned earlier the baby class. I've had as young as a 6-week-old baby.
Wow, 6 weeks.
One of the training classes I attended, one of the teachers taking the training brought her 2-week-old baby with her. So that's the youngest.
Oh, that's precious.
Yeah, and it's so amazing what babies can do. To watch this class in the process, it blows your mind away.
I remember one time when I was teaching in Wisconsin, I had a student, I think she was like maybe 5, and her younger sister would come to the lessons, and she was maybe 2, or maybe a little bit younger than 2. And she picked up on the rhythm so quick. So she was just sitting and clapping along, or she'd come over to the piano and start playing the keys. And I was just like, whoa, she needs to get started on violin. Just like her sister.
The younger siblings are always so much easier to teach because I let siblings come in. In fact, I've had the siblings, like you say, I had a family taught the first one at 5. He had a baby sister in a car seat. She was maybe a year and a half old or something. And lo and behold, surprise, surprise, Rachel comes along and she's in the car seat while Andrea and Greggy are playing, you know. So, and Rachel was the easiest of all. So the observation, Dr. Suzuki's point about the observation and the listening.
Yeah, so I'd love to get back. You said that you didn't have the time to practice, and when you had the time, you just wanted to relax. So when you came across the 15-minute practice routine, 30-minute practice routine, and you created that for yourself, I'd love to know more about that. So you created it, and then was it easy to start right away to do that? Did you find yourself kind of like fall off the wagon a little bit and come back? What's your, like, how did you work with the program, with a calendar that you created?
Let's see. It was amazingly easy to implement, I thought. But like I said, I had started in August, and I had taken I went back through my notebook because I started keeping a notebook, and it started in August, and I took the September challenge and the October challenge, and I had been working through coming up, implementing the 15 to 30 minute practicing. It didn't get done every day. In fact, I made it a point, I noticed last night, that I wrote no practicing on, whatever date it was. And I went, huh.
Uh-huh.
I look at that now, it was just, well, that's what happened. I didn't practice. So I started writing things down. The big advice, write it down. Just write it down. Write down what worked out, what didn't. And I started doing that per your advice. And I got myself a timer and did things for 3 minutes. I have to tell you, the way I get a lot of practicing done is I'll do something for 1:30 seconds. Yeah, I go through and pick and choose the spots that in whatever exercise it is that not going so well, I spend more time on that than the other. And then when I give myself the 3 minutes and I want to listen to myself wail along, I'll do the whole 3 minutes and the whole thing. And it's just so much fun. It's so cool to be able to sit down. Oh, and then at your suggestion, I got onto Trello. I thought, I didn't do that right away either. I thought it's going to take me longer to figure this out. Well, then I finally bit the bullet and did it. I'm here to tell you, do the Trello. I got it all set up. I just poke through, got my list, go down. I just don't even have to think about it. I do it. But that started, I actually made myself a Excel sheet first and lined things up. And then I did the Trello. Can't say enough about it. It just keeps you in the groove and keeps me motivated because I know what I'm going to sit down and do.
Yeah, and I think that's really key for a violinist who has a very busy schedule like you do. That okay, I have this time, I know what I'm going to practice or play, it's just like if you don't have to take the time to even think, it's all done, you've already done it for yourself, you just get in there and you just do it.
In fact, that may have been worth the price of GTA. And I was with Gorgeous Tone Academy, I was just so ecstatic at all the things. That's where you changed my left hand, that little squeeze together left hand. And remember the bow hold that couldn't get to the tip? Now I run out of bow. And it really is all thanks to that little schedule. And some great teaching, I might add.
Thank you. Thanks, Susan. And some great implementation and consistency.
That really works. I do it every day.
That's exciting. So now, would you say you're practicing? You're basically practicing every day then with that calendar?
Yes. Occasionally, well, actually, it's the other way around. I generally practice 7 days a week. Occasionally, I'll miss a Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on. But during the week, I pretty much nail it every day.
That's so exciting. I mean, you're such an inspiration for so many violinists out there. Violinists who have a really busy schedule, violinists that are lifetime violinists that for a while, just where it's practicing, only playing for the gigs, exhausted, probably burnt out a little bit. and yeah, the fact that you're doing this now is just incredible. And you have a goal set up for yourself, a performance goal.
I do. When I first went to graduate school, my teacher gave opening session recital, and he played the Franck Sonata. And I said to myself then and there, sitting in that theater seat, I'm going to play this piece someday. Someday came in 1989. The accompanist that I had for my senior recital in my undergraduate had moved to Birmingham, Alabama, and had taken a position at college there as the piano professor. So in 1989, I decided that I wanted to do a recital. So I said, Tony, you want to play? And I gave him the Franck and some other stuff to fill up at least an hour. And the recital was scheduled for January, the end of January. And I've been practicing for months, and that was probably the actual last time that I practiced very consistently. And so it's Christmas. It's the day after Christmas. I'm practicing the Franck and having a big time. Tony calls and he says, Susan, I fell down the stairs and hurt my elbow. I don't think I can play the Franck. And it's like, what? He says, do you know the Beethoven Spring Recital, number 5? No. Well, this is where Dr. Suzuki won the day. I found myself a recording, and I wore that cassette tape out. I never listened to something so much in my whole life as I did that, but it worked, and I managed to pull it off. So the upshot is the Franck never got played then. Well, lo and behold, and I've been telling you for what, years now, oh, I'm going to get together with Tony and we're going to play, well, since 2017 anyway, this has been the goal. And I put it off and put it off, you know how it goes. And then I find out last summer, Tony is moving back to Toledo. Hooray. So there we are. I'm letting him get settled. He's found a place to live and getting everything moved back and squared around for himself. So pretty soon I'm handing him the Franck Sonata piano part and saying, stay off the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to happen this time.
Yeah, so I've got the Franck on tap for it, and the Amy Beach Romance, and your suggestion,
William Bolton's Graceful Ghost.
Graceful Ghost, yeah. Mm-hmm. And 3 pieces by Margaret Richter. Those are fun little pieces. They're harder than they look. She wrote those pieces for Pierre Salinger's son, who was studying violin at the time. I believe he was maybe 12 or 13. Pierre Salinger was John Kennedy's, some sort of an assistant. I don't remember his exact title. And she wrote those pieces for his son. And I came across those when I was exploring the Amy Beach, and I found this website, sleepypuppypress.com. Cora Cooper has compiled all of this music by women composers, and it goes from the very beginning. It's kind of lined up, not exactly with the Suzuki repertoire, but she does allude to that, so that tells me that she has some sort of exposure or training, whatever. So they're easiest to very advanced. The Margaret Richter pieces, 3 pieces, are, I believe, in the 4th book. There are 5 volumes. So those are really neat. I like those. Let's see, the Franck, the Graceful Ghost, Amy Beach Romance, 3 pieces. I think that's it. That's enough to keep me busy and out of trouble.
I think so. Do you have a tentative date planned in the calendar? Well, I'm putting you on the spot, aren't I?
That's okay. I really just need to do it. I'm guessing that we're going to go for fall. That would still give him time to get settled. And unfortunately, I do a bunch of traveling in the month of March with my job, and I'm in Florida at that time, and I bought one of these cheapy silent violins so that I wouldn't be bothering the rest of the place, so that I could practice down there, because I discovered 3 weeks without the violin was horrible. And I didn't want to leave even only a halfway decent instrument down in Florida. And so I figured this metal thing isn't going to suffer from the elements, as it were, the humidity and all that. So so we'll practice through the spring. We can practice through the summer and go for the fall.
I think that's great. And I think it's a beautiful program for fall. It has a fall feel to it. The Franck has a fall feel, you know?
Yeah.
So, and the
I love
both of
that.
them, yeah, the graceful ghost, you know, around Halloween kind of
Yeah,
thing, you
yeah,
know?
it's gonna be fun. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, so it's a perfect program for that time of year. I'm excited for you, really excited.
I'm excited too. I'm just excited to play violin every day. And
That's so cool.
I'm here to tell you out there, it can be done. I can do it, anybody can do it.
Susan, thank you so much. It's really my pleasure to work with you and to have this interview today, to feature you as an inspirational violinist for other violinists out there.
I did want to throw in one more thing. My birthday is coming up next week, and remember how I spent my birthday last year? I took the day in Chicago, and I had a for real live lesson with you. It was that was just the best. So
that's right. That was on your birthday.
That's right. So my advice out there for all of you out there is, if you have the chance to have a live lesson with Heather, take it, even if you have to take the train.
Yeah. What date was that? What was the date? Your birthday was
February 6th.
Wow.
Yep. Hopped the train in the morning. We had a lesson, hopped the train, and came back to Toledo.
Wow, what a coincidence. You're the featured violinist of the month again for February. Well, not again, but featured violinist of the month for February, your birthday month. You have some good luck around your birthday, some good vibes.
Nice birthday gift, Heather.
Yeah. Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, I will be heading back to the States, but I don't know when. And when I do, I'll make it known so that that we can, you know, hopefully work something out again.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Susan. And thanks for everyone for watching this video. I will be posting in the blog posts these links that we talked about today, especially the one with the women composers. I have to get that link from you again.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely. So thanks everyone for watching. Happy February to everyone, and wishing all violinists out there inspiration from Susan. Feel the vibes. Feel the vibes. Thank you again, Susan.
Thanks, Heather.
Bye.